If we want to produce a cumulative frequency graph for group data, unfortunately we can't do this within spreadsheet itself. So from the data we have in our spreadsheet, we've created a grouped frequency table. So within the spreadsheet, we've got it as the upper limits of our groups going up in tens, and then we've got the associated frequencies with them. A program that we can produce our cumulative frequency chart in, however, is Autograph. So if we open up Autograph in advanced mode, we get this 2D graphing page when we first start the program. On the top toolbar, if we click on the button on the left that opens up a new 1D statistics page, we then want to enter in our data as group data, so we click on the enter group data button just below page on the toolbars. We want to use the XF table, so we click on the button and then edit. The X values in Autograph want to be our lower group limits. So unlike the spreadsheet, which uses upper limits, Autograph is going to be using the lower limits. So if we quickly flick back to our spreadsheet, we can see that the first group that has a frequency, it has an upper limit of 40. So that means its lower limit was 30. So in Autograph, I'm going to have my first lower limit is 30, then 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90. With Autograph, we also then need to tell it what the final upper limit is. So in this case, that was 100. To add in the frequencies, I can go back to my frequency table, and if I just highlight all the frequencies that I want, I can do Control-C to copy those, go back to Autograph, click on the first frequency space, and Control-V pastes them in. So then I don't have to keep flicking backwards and forwards between the two to have to see which each of my frequencies are. So now that we've got our lower limits with the associated frequencies in and the final upper limit for our table, we can click on OK. So that takes us back to the initial menu with Edit Group Dataset, and we can click on OK again. Within Autograph, if we've got multiple sets of data that we're looking at comparing, we can keep adding in multiple different sets of group data by clicking on that group dataset button. To add in our cumulative frequency graph within Autograph, that is now very quick because it's a pretty much one button click. So we find the cumulative frequency diagram on that bottom toolbar, just below and to the right of data. Click on that. Obviously what we want to plot is cumulative frequency. We want a curve fit, so we just click OK. It automatically draws the graph for us. Obviously at the minute we've got a lot of empty space, so we can look at neatening that up a little bit. To change our axis, we click on the spanner below object. Obviously the lowest value that we've got for our frequency table is 30, so we're going to change the X minimum to 30. We're going to keep the maximum as 100. The Y minimum is going to stay at 0. We know that our Y maximum is 50, as we only had a total of 50 different test scores. Click on OK, and it will automatically adjust it. Within the axis edit, you can change other things as well, so you can change where the grid lines are, you can change how big the text is. Obviously at the minute, our axes are labelled as X and F. That's not what our data is showing, so if we click again on our edit axes bit and click on the labels tab, we know that label is test, X is test score, and our y-axis is an F for frequency. It's now cumulative frequency, so we'll call that CF. Click on the OK, and it adds those labels in for us. That's a nice, quick, easy cumulative frequency diagram done for us. With Autograph, if we want to use our diagram in other things, often we're going to want to just copy and paste. So if you go to page, within there you can copy the page, which includes everything around the axes, so including all the buttons. Often more useful is copy graph, and then you can paste that directly in. Occasionally you might want to save the graph for later use, and so you've got the option there as well. Along with having a cumulative frequency graph, we're often going to want a box and whisker diagram. To add one of these in, it's very quick. Next to our cumulative frequency graph button, we've got a button that's got a little picture of a box and whisker diagram. Click on that. We want to use our group data, so click OK. And it draws in automatically our box and whisker diagram for us. Often we're not going to want to have both shown at the same time. So what we can do is if we left click on our cumulative frequency graph so it goes black, then right click on it and go down to hide object. So that just hides our graph so that we can just focus in on our box and whisker diagram. We can then copy that image, save it for later, or we can use a snipping tool to paste it in elsewhere and such like.